That day was a bit tougher because the weather wasn't so nice. Well, it was still windy, but it was colder and wetter. So going up Anach Moor, which is the first peak, it was quite damp, and it's quite a sort of boggy hillside going up there. And then on the top, it was blowing a hoolie. It's a westerly wind or northwesterly wind, and the ridge runs north-south, so there's no shelter at all. We're now on the top of Anach Moor. It's snowing and it's windy and it's misty, as you can see, so there's not very much to see. If you want to have a quick look at me, not looking terribly happy. Here I am, pretty bleak. As I say, it's snowing. Better show you the cairns to prove I'm here. That's the summit cairn and the summit panorama. So I got fairly perished there, got off the top as quickly as possible, but then as I moved over to Anach Beg, which is actually the higher peak, the clouds started to break up, and the terrain's more varied, so you do get bits of shelter, so it wasn't quite so bracing. This is the summit of Anach Beg. Weather has improved a bit. It was actually in the sun for a moment just then. It's a strange place, all these exposures of quartz, quite bleak. That's looking over to Carmarthenshire, where we're going next, up the Turret. Hags and cornices over the top here, don't get blown off. Way down. This is me looking suitably cheerful. 12:25 and now on the summit of Carmarthenshire. As you can see, unfortunately the weather is still not great. Here's the summit cairn. Many people about for some strange reason. Right, I'm going to record along the Carmarthenshire arête. This could be a bit dicey. We'll see what happens. Crampon scratches. So that's the descent from the Carmarthenshire. Here we are at the summit of Ben Nevis in its usual evocative state. That's the actual summit. I'm taking these pictures there at the trig point, because there's people around. I would do it in private, as it were. Unfortunately, as usual, no view. On top of that little cairn there's a snow bunting. If you can see, let's try to zoom in.
ready to go, eh?
Something like that.
He said he wasn't sure whether you were glad.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm pleased that you're back or not, really.
Have a look in.
Very nice. See you, Loch Awe.
Yeah, see you later.
It's amazing. I didn't see a single person till I got actually onto the summit of the Ben. And from then I must have seen, I don't know, 500 I should think. It's just crazy.
Fantastically, and to my relief, kind of crossed the bridge to start going up into Glen Coe and picked up a tailwind, which was just a joy because it helped, and also I was able to just sort of coast up. It made it seem like a really easy climb after some of what I'd done. And I just went up there in awe of spent a lot more time looking behind myself than looking forward. And then you come over the top and into the big glen there, and it was lovely. In fact, that whole day, had the fatigue not set in later that day, as much as sort of slightly aching backside, I think. The scenery for that whole section would have been, and it was beautiful. It's just that I didn't enjoy some of it because the road surface got a bit nasty, and I was being bounced around a lot.
We did a trip about September last year up to Scotland, and it was only when we saw sort of how rough it was going to get on these sort of lochs. We looked at Loch Ness and we kind of ruled it out because there weren't enough sort of access points on the loch. And then it turned out it wasn't the longest loch anyway, for all it's the biggest. Loch Awe was definitely going to be the longest. And then having looked at Loch Awe, we kind of saw that it was a bit more sort of friendly in terms of kind of short access. But up until then, I hadn't been in a proper kayak apart from this little inflatable. So I was like, yeah, okay, kayaking, that would be nice and easy. I do that on holiday.
Little launchage. Okay, yeah.
Sound of plastic ripping away.
We'd sort of decided every hour and 20 minutes or hour and a half we were going to stop. And I remember Mum saying, oh, that'll mean just 3 stops and then we'll be done. So that was like pretty good. So it's like as soon as one stop was done, I was like, oh, good, we'll only stop another twice and then should kind of get to the end. But I think, I was saying to Richard afterwards, I think I did sort of just zone out after a little while and kind of sort of went off into my own little world and just kind of blindly kept paddling along. And
I think a mother's instinct took over a little bit, and I was aware that perhaps Joanne was a little bit out of her comfort zone sometimes in the waves and things. So,
but it looks sort of quite rough out in the middle. I think Mum said a few times, oh, we could go out. And I was like, no, I'm sticking to the shore. You go out there if you want to. But we did actually at the top end, I don't know if the wind had died down or if it was a bit more sheltered, but we did end up sort of quite a long way out, sort of closer to the islands actually in the middle. So we did take a bit more of a direct route, but I think kind of fatigue had set in by then. It was just sort of shortest route.
We suddenly realised just how long Loch Awe was, and the fact that it's probably further than the channel. The whole time we were out there, which was, 6 hours, we saw one other boat. And I think that was just somebody coming out to pick his nets up or something like that. We didn't see a soul on the water or along. The only people we saw on the loch side were the support teams.
Are you warming up? I suppose that's the main thing.
Quite hot paddling.
How's it going?
It's wet and it's choppy. And I don't think I like kayaking.
I'm not going to take you to the sport.
I found it was tiring. I'm not going to say it wasn't tiring. There was never a time when I thought I can't do this, but I was very, very glad to see that castle at the end. It's stiffness. It's your legs go stiff and your bum goes numb. But yeah, no, it was. In a strange, perverse sort of way, it was enjoyable.
See them? There they are.
There's kind of a false end to the loch, whereby there's the Whopping Great Castle, which is the focal point, and where we all headed independently to check it out. But to get them out there would have meant then carrying the kayaks about 400 metres back to the cars. So we had a quick check round and got them out the scruffy end under a bridge, which was hardly the most salubrious end to a very tough day out, and not the most dignified in a lot of ways as well. People are sort of struggling to get out of kayaks in very in-depth of water rather than a nice jetty.
How you start, Marj? You're not mobile. Oh, I'm pleased to say I got that. Ready, go.
The knack as well to doing it.
Okay, well we'll let you know where we're up to next time.